Hi everybody, today I'm going to look at the book on CD Dracula the Undead by Dacre, Stoker and Ian Holt, and it's narrated by Simon Preble. But before we get started, I just want to mention that my prayers are going out to the people in that were hit by the hurricanes in Puerto Rico and that part of the world, and also for the Mexico City earthquake victims. So you're in my prayers, and stay safe. Okay, well, now on to the Dracula the Undead. Now, this is a sequel that apparently was approved by the Stoker family, and just as a disclaimer here, Dracula, the original Dracula by Bram Stoker, is probably one of my favorite books of all time. At least it's in the top 5. In fact, the best English class I took in college was when we read Dracula, and I think Dracula. The reason I like Dracula so much is that it's kind of like the games the games I like to play, where people pull their resources, they get items, they come together, they chase the villain, they have an objective. It's cool. Okay, I think in some ways the original Dracula was probably the first kind of basis of a co-op game. And well, let's take a look at the sequel to Dracula the Undead, and I'm sure there are a ton of sequels out there, or so-called sequels. Now, this one there's 12 compact discs. I actually got this at a used bookstore, so I didn't pay the full price, and I'm glad I didn't pay the full price. There's going to be a couple of spoilers. Usually, I don't like to go over the actual plot on when I do the reviews, but this kind of made my commute go a little less stressed out, stressful. Well, let's see. The guy who read it, Simon Preble, has a proper British accent for such an undertaking. The story, let's talk about the characters first. Now, anytime they try to deconstruct the characters and then make them, in this version, the beloved characters are all, they did everything they could to undermine them and make them unlikable. For example, Jonathan Harker's a stinking drunk, and Dr. Seward is he's a drug addict, and they tried to turn Van Helsing. They were linking him to the Jack the Ripper murders, and I just kind of why do that? This might have been better served as just a vampire story, would have different names. It's like when people try to redo a Sherlock Holmes thing, like the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. I mean, all the they make Watson into a degenerate gambler, and the story's good, but I just think the execution is bad. But anyway, let's that's my feeling about the characters. The plot centers around Mina and John Harker's son, or is it Dracula's son? Trying to get a little bit Star Warsy there. And the Bram Stoker was involved in the theater at the time he wrote Dracula. So they set this in a theater where they're actually putting on a Dracula play, and there's a Hungarian actor, and I was shocked I say, to find out that this Hungarian character actually ended up to be Dracula. I did not see that coming. I mean, if this was a Scooby-Doo cartoon at the end, when they find out, or near the end when you find out that Bezarab is actually Dracula, if it was a Scooby-Doo cartoon, he'd say, I would have gotten away with it if it hadn't been for you meddling kids. It was that much of a shock. A couple of the other things with the plot that, well, the main thing was, and this is a big time spoiler, so I'll give it a second or two. Well, the book ends with Dracula getting on the Titanic, and I thought that was so lame. But that's just me. You might like it. As a whole, I'll give this book on CD. I'll give it a B. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as the next one. Well, the next one isn't bad, but I'm going to be doing a review of Telegraph Avenue. I didn't even finish it. So, but this one I did finish. You might like it. Just kind of keeping. You might like it if you think that, just that it's not actually the characters from Dracula. It's just a story about a vampire. Okay. I think maybe that's my expectations were kind of. I was like, oh yeah, awesome. But yeah, but it. Kept me going on my commute for about a week, and traffic was bad, so I was able on one day I listened to two and a half of the CDs. So once again I'll give this a B. If you like this review, give me a hearty thumbs up. If you don't like it, well, give me a thumbs down and shut up. Thanks for watching. Bye now.